世界脉动，澳洲视角，欢迎收看 AMEC 澳洲留学网络电台，您的第一手 Visa 新闻平台。Hello， 各位观众朋友，大家好，我是 Karl，
我是 Yvonne。OK，
我们今天呢，我们又欢迎到了 Yvonne 到我们的频道来。那当然，今天要讲的东西比较特别哈。那 Yvonne 你可以跟大家先介绍一下，用中文介绍，因为我们等一下可能全部都是用英文的。OK？
对，今天呢，大家也知道现在澳洲的窘境，我们飞不进去，所以呢，我不得已呢，我也必须要来推销一下美国的学校了。
哦，今天要介绍美国的学校 USA 的 University。
那当然呢，因为这个业界的关系呢，当我触碰到这个领域的时候，也很荣幸的得到了一个我觉得这个大学超棒的项目。是非常有名的美国的杜克大学。那它有一个专业是国际政策发展，应该叫做 Master of International Development Policy。这一个科系呢，它可以 recruit 国际学生，所以呢，我就拿到这个项目。那我今天也邀请到他们这个美国的 director 来为我们介绍这个课程。那当然这是很不容易的，我也非常感谢。那除此，当然我们不是做美国留学的，就是说一直以来都习惯做澳洲，可是因为这个大学实在太出名了， ranking 也很高，所以我认为在这个 moment 还是很适合跟大家做分享。因为现在其实台湾有一波人一直去美国，那他可能也是想要去，那他能去留学的地方到底可以留什么，可以读什么。这个时候呢，我今天呢就希望借由这个 video 来跟大家推荐这个在世界排名前20大的知名大学，而且是知名的政治人物呢，包括随便讲，可能美国的尼克森总统呢，就是这个大学毕业的，还有很多很多的名人哦。可能我们等一下等这个我们要邀请的这个贵宾讲完之后，我们可能在后续跟大家讲，或者是大家去 Google 一下，就知道这个大学呢一直以来都是名人辈出。好，那我们现在赶快进入到
Right, so we'll welcome Mr. Brent Schmoke. Hello, Brent. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. And we'll really appreciate it to have you as a director of recruitment into our program. So today we'll probably get you to talk more about Duke University.
Absolutely. It'll be my pleasure.
Yes.
Okay. So you've got us some of the PowerPoint. Now, why don't you take us through what Duke University and the Master of the International Development Policy will actually offer.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So thanks everyone for joining today. I'm going to give a brief presentation about a specific master's degree program that is available at one of the highest ranked and most prestigious universities in the United States, which is Duke University. And the particular program I'll be talking about is the Master of International Development Policy, which is abbreviated MIDP. So I'll be saying MIDP for the rest of my presentation. We can go to the next slide. Perfect. So just a little bit about Duke University in case you haven't heard of it before. It's currently the number 12 university in the United States out of more than 3,000 colleges and universities. It's often considered equivalent with the Ivy League universities. So maybe you've heard of Harvard or Princeton or Yale. Duke University and Stanford, universities like that are in the same level of academic prestige and reputation. Duke has 16,000 total students and a very large group of international students there from various parts of Asia. The MIDP program has about 200 students, so it's one of the smaller programs. But the benefit is that you have all of the resources and prestige of Duke University, but in a small program where you'll get lots of attention from your faculty members. And all throughout the presentation, you'll see beautiful pictures of the campus architecture, such as the photo you're seeing here. You can go to the next slide. Perfect. So Duke is located in the state of North Carolina, which is on the east coast or the Atlantic coast of the United States, very close to Washington, D.C., as maybe a common reference point geographically. It's located in the city of Durham, which is one of the fast-growing and very exciting cities to live in. It has a great quality of life because very high level of education there. They have a booming tech sector for technology jobs and very educated populace. It's also a great place for culture, such as sports and parks and great restaurants, with access to many major cities in the United States as well. So one of the big benefits of studying at Duke is the city of Durham, North Carolina. We can go to the next slide. Here's a map of the United States, just so you get a little bit more of an idea of where North Carolina and Durham and Duke are located. So NC there, the blue state, is North Carolina. By car, it's about 4 hours to Washington, D.C. It's about 8 hours by car from New York City, so one day's drive basically. It's also about 2 hours from the largest city in North Carolina, which is Charlotte, which is also a very great job area in the United States, very fast-growing economy in Charlotte. And then to complement all of the cities, you also have access to really beautiful nature and scenic touristic areas, such as the Great Smoky Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains, which are great for hiking. And within about 2 hours, you can also arrive on the Atlantic coastline of North Carolina and see the ocean as well. So a very naturally beautiful area as well. All right, so there's a few more rankings about Duke University on the left side of this slide. So you can see it's the number 13 best value school in the United States, which is basically the return on your investment. So you're going to spend a lot on tuition, but in return, your career prospects are really amazing if you have a Duke degree. It's number 8 for co-op and internship placement for all students. They have almost 175,000 alumni located in more than 100 countries. And the program I'm talking about today, the MIDP program, is located in the Sanford School, which is related to policy, such as environmental policy and public policy. So you can see some of the US News Report rankings on the right side of the slide there, such as the number 3 environmental policy program, number 6 public policy. All of those programs are in the Sanford School, the academic college. And then within the MIDP program, there's many different focus areas you can choose from. So I'll talk about those more on the upcoming slides. Perfect. So again, I'm talking about the MIDP program. This is a flexible interdisciplinary program, which means that you're able to study in a wide variety of academic areas. Maybe you want to focus more on business or more on economics or more on public health. There's a lot of ways to customize the MIDP so that it matches your career interest. The other important thing that you'll see here is that it's a very diverse cohort of students from around 30 different countries. Currently in the program, there's about 75 students in each of the cohorts, and there's 2 cohorts studying at any time. One thing I really want to emphasize is that this is a program that's meant for mid-career professionals. So it's primarily international students that already have 5 years or more of work experience. So it's very rare for students to go directly from the bachelor's degree right into this degree program, because the MIDP faculty really value that the students bring in a lot of experience from their previous careers and also just from their life. You can see the average age of the student is 35, so it's a much more mature and professional group of students than you might find in some other master's degrees in the United States. And it also has a very balanced geographic distribution where there's a lot of students from the East Asia region, so Greater China and Southeast Asia, for example. But there are a good number of students also from Canada and the United States, different parts of Europe, South America. So that also brings a lot of diverse opinions and great chance for networking with people from all over the world. Thanks for that. Here's some pictures of the MIDP faculty as well as current and former students. I think I've already mentioned most of these points already. So it's an early to mid-career program. It's a diverse global cohort of students. The curriculum, which is like your selection of classes that you take over the 2 years, is self-designed, and you'll work with your advisor to choose which classes you want to take. And so the master's degree ends up being very unique and customized to whatever you want to learn about and whatever you want to be an expert in. And related to that, there are seven different areas of focus that you can choose from. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
So, what would be? It looks very good, but what would be the hardest part, or perhaps from the past histories, what are the common failures or student fail subjects in this particular majors?
Yeah, sure. So I would say in terms of being admitted to the program, the most challenging parts are the minimum of 5 years of work experience, which has to be full-time work. And many times that causes a bit of challenge for applicants because they might want to go straight from their undergraduate degree into a master's degree. But this program would need 5 years of work experience.
Is there any position requirement? I mean, the seniority of the position required for that 5-year work experience?
Great question. No, there's really not a seniority requirement. You don't have to be a manager or anything like that. But it does need to be full-time work experience that happens after graduation from the bachelor's degree.
Right.
That's the main thing.
But definitely cannot be a pizza delivery boy.
You could. There's no particular background you have to be. Like you don't have to be from the economics or development area. You could have experience in maybe the corporate sector or computer science or languages. As long as you can articulate to the faculty why you're transitioning into the area of international development, they will consider your profile, and they're really not that particular as long as there's some connection to the program.
Interesting. All right, yeah. I'll get you back into the slides. Okay.
It's a great question. Perfect. So this slide covers off on all the admissions requirements, and I'll just go through them one by one, and then maybe we'll have some more questions as well. It is $80 to apply, so that's the first thing to be aware of. And in terms of supporting documents, what the MIDP faculty will be looking for are three letters of recommendation. Those can be from a combination of professors from your undergraduate degree, and then at least one letter from a professional reference, like maybe a supervisor or a colleague. That would be really important. The second document is a policy essay, where the essay prompt will be something like, choose a global development problem and suggest a way that policy by the government could be used to solve that problem. So, for example, maybe the problem the student wants to write about is lack of water access in a certain region of Africa or a certain region of China or something like that. The student would choose that issue and then write a policy essay to suggest a solution. And it might be 1 or 2 pages of writing, and it's just a chance to demonstrate their backgrounds in the the field of policy. The next one is a statement of purpose where they're explaining why they would be an excellent candidate for MIDP and why they're taking the step from whatever they're currently doing into MIDP. So explaining their career trajectory, basically. Next is just a CV or a resume showing their professional experiences, and usually that's about 1 page of their work history. And then transcripts from all previous universities attended, so that would include bachelor's degree and any master's degrees that they've completed previously. So those are the main supporting documents. Another very important aspect is the English proficiency. In general, Duke is looking for one of these different scores, and so we need a minimum TOEFL score of 90 or higher, IELTS of 7 or higher, Pearson, Duolingo. Those are the primary ways that international students demonstrate their English proficiency. But if the student has completed a degree in a country like Australia or the UK or Canada or the United States, there is the chance to earn a waiver so that they don't need to present an IELTS score, for example.
Excuse me, Brent?
Yeah.
Yes. The IELTS 7 is for overall score, or each section need to reach 7?
Great question. It's just the overall score that matters. The individual section scores can be variable. So maybe they have a 6.5 in one section. That's no problem, as long as the overall score is a 7.
And usually, from your experience, what kind of student that previously their background and they were interested to study this? In my mind now, I can see probably for most of law degree background, they will be very interesting for this program. Or if the social worker, they are looking for more higher standard development, they are possibly suitable to study this, right? Or others?
Perfect. I think both of those two fields you mentioned make a lot of sense, and it's very common for students to come from those two areas. There are also a lot of government employees that perhaps have taken a sabbatical from their position for a national government, and they go to Duke for 2 years to learn, a global policy perspective, and then maybe go back to their government job. That's another type. But we do have a lot of successful students that come from the corporate sector, also from engineering or from technology. The main challenge for those last 3 types, though, they just need to explain how the global development degree will connect to what they've been working on before. So as long as they can demonstrate that in their essays, they have a really good chance of being accepted to the program as well.
Okay, and because the course it must have the high value, and because the ranking is such high in the world, when the student choose to go abroad to US and study this program, will they gain any opportunity to socialize or attend any meeting as a policy development meeting? And I mean, such as, we can't say internship, because I think if these courses is very suitable for already they are professional, but how should I say, is a experience or any?
Yeah, it's a great question. The first thing I would say is that many of the faculty come from very prestigious backgrounds in like many of them have worked for the World Bank or the World Health Organization, very high profile things like that. Yes. But there is a career office that has a dedicated staff just to help the MIDP students achieve a summer internship between year 1 and year 2. So that can either be a CPT placement in the United States, or they could help the student get an internship for the summer in a third country, like maybe in Switzerland or the UK, working for one of these big global development institutions. But all students do complete an internship between year 1 and year 2.
Sounds good.
That sounds
Very
good.
interesting.
Very interesting. At this moment, the world needs international policy development.
Yeah, it's a mess now. Anyway, let's don't go into politics now. But anyway, we let you to go on.
Sure. Great. The only other two items, or three items to highlight on this slide. So I already mentioned work experience is very important. This slide says minimum of 3 years. Generally, to be competitive, students should have a minimum of 5 years, to be really honest about it. But if they have really impressive work experience and then the rest of the supporting documents are really impressive, they might have a chance to be accepted. And you can see some of the common sectors listed there from where the work experience comes. And then in general, for MIDP, we're looking for an equivalent undergraduate GPA of 3.0 out of 4.0. And the other thing I wanted to emphasize is that GRE is not required, and it's really not even commonly considered. I would not recommend submitting a GRE score unless the student has a score of maybe 310 or higher, and they really think it brings something to the application. But the most important aspects really are the letters of recommendation, the policy essay, the work experience, and the statement of purpose. Those are the most important things. Awesome. Okay, I won't go too deep into this. This is just some statistics about the nature of the course, like how it's set up. So it's meant to be completed in 2 years. There are 16 courses needed to complete the master's degree. There are 8 seminar classes that are required for all students. And then the remaining 8 courses are electives where the student chooses what they want to study. And they have the chance to take advantage of all of the amazing academic areas of Duke. So maybe they want to take classes in public health and take advantage of the medical school at Duke, for example. That's an opportunity there. And the other things that you can see there is the summer internship being required. And a little bit lower, those bullet points at the bottom show that the summer internship does qualify for CPT for F1 students. So many times students go to Washington, D.C. or New York City for their summer internship because that's where a lot of the huge policy organizations are located.
Yeah.
Great. Let's see. I think we mentioned this already as well. This is the professional development provided by the career office at Duke. So there is a full-time person that's dedicated just to helping MIDP students prepare for their interview process to get the internship, and then also to find a job after they graduate. And having the Duke brand and having the MIDP connection really will open a lot of doors for students. So maybe they want to go back to their home country and bring what they learned, that perspective, back to contributing to the development of their country. But if they are looking for placement for a job in the United States, I have a few examples listed, I believe, on the next slide that I can show what are some of the common job outcomes. Yeah, perfect. So for the cohorts that graduated between 2017 and 2019, you can see the breakdown here. So 56% of them ended up working in governmental agencies, 15% in the private sector, 5% in academia, and 8% in NGOs. And then the remainder, I believe they went on to a PhD program, most likely.
Yeah.
The common placements, though, the organizations that commonly employ students are listed there below. So you can see United Nations, World Bank, Oxfam. Many of these really well-known international organizations are listed here. So Duke MIDP is very connected to those groups. And many times the summer internship will lead to a job placement after graduation as well, even for international students. Perfect. Do you have any questions about any of that information before I go into the tuition breakdown?
I think it's quite clear, right? It's very clear.
We are good. So
yeah,
let's get into the nasty part.
Yeah, the all-important
all right,
mighty dollar sign. Yeah, let's take a look at the breakdown. Okay, so this is estimated tuition and fees per year. So because of Duke's reputation and ranking and the amount of attention and resources given to students, the tuition is around $40,000 per year. And then there are some mandatory fees that are listed here as well from the university. And the other major cost that's listed is the student health insurance, which would cover the student in case they need any medical attendance in the United States. So the total here is $51,847, and not included is the cost of living. The estimated cost of living in Durham for students for the academic year is about $16,000. So altogether, the I-20 value comes out to around 67 or 68,000 US dollars, including all expenses. But cost of living, as you may know, it's just an estimation. And depending on what type of apartment or living situation the student has, it may be a little bit lower than that as well. The other thing I wanted to mention, we've already stopped the application cycle for the August 2021 semester because classes start in about 2 months, and the application cycle just starts pretty early. But we can already accept applications for the fall 2022 intake. And for that intake, we will have some scholarship support available for applicants. So, if the student is admitted and they seem like a great fit for the program, MIDP does have some scholarship funds available to maybe help pay for 5% of tuition, for example, just to help reduce the price a little bit.
I see. I'm sorry, Brent. Can I please ask you one more question?
Sure.
Karl, can you please go the slide?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just find out we have a student health fee, and also have a Duke student health insurance. What is the difference for these?
Yeah, that's a really good question. The Duke student health insurance would be the one that gives access to basically private medical coverage. So like if the student needs to go to hospital or meet a doctor off campus, that's what's covered in that one. The one that's $800, the Duke fee, would be for the campus health center, which can provide a lot of services for the student as well, like if they need some sort of vaccination or pharmaceuticals, like maybe they have some prescription to be filled. Many of those can be met by the university's own health center. And so that's what the 858 is going towards.
Oh, I
Hopefully
see.
that makes sense.
because for we just have a similar we just have some experience in Australia, but maybe that won't happen in US at the moment because Australia now border is closed, so there are many students they have to attend online, so they will not be able to enjoy the health insurance, so they will have the issue about, can I get refund, or I never use the insurance? But for Duke, because you this program, the student has to be attend in campus. You will not offer them online program. Therefore, the student they will get But another thing is if the student study and finally they decide maybe go home earlier, so they will not use all of the insurance, can they get a refund or partially
Yeah,
refund?
That's a good question. So you're right that the program will be in person, especially for our applicants for next year. I think by then, hopefully everything will have gone really well with vaccination and we'll be completely finished with the pandemic. But the university is planning for that to be in person. The health insurance is charged on a semester basis. So they would be charged for like semester 1 of health insurance. And then if they had to go home and only completed 1 semester, they wouldn't be charged the fees for semester 2 in that case. But if they started like the fall semester and then left after 1 or 2 months, I don't believe the remaining like semester fee would be refunded, unfortunately, unless it's like really early in the semester. But if it's like halfway through the semester, most likely the fees don't get refunded in that case.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Okay. Yes. All right.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem.
All right. Next page.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So there's the I-20 breakdown. So after you've been admitted to Duke and decided that this is where you want to study for the next 2 years, your next step is to provide some financial documents showing your funding. And then the university will send you your I-20, which is your form you use to schedule the visa appointment to get the F1 student visa. The only thing I wanted to say is if you earn a scholarship from Duke, that number is subtracted from what you need to show on your bank statements. So instead of having to show $71,000 on your bank statement, let's say you got a $10,000 scholarship, then you would only have to show $61,047 on your bank statements.
Good.
Awesome. Okay, cool. The end here, there's just some student testimonials that if you'd like to read those, we can probably share the slides with you later. They're just some quotes from past students. We also have some videos that perhaps we can share with AMEC in case you'd like to hear from some international students directly via video. But basically, this is the end of the formal presentation, and my contact information is there at the end if you'd like to contact me or any of my colleagues at Duke. We are very excited to talk to students over Zoom to check if they might be a good match for the program and talk about their profile. One thing I did want to say, in case someone has like an IELTS of 6.5 and it's not quite a 7, but they're really interested in the program, they can do a Zoom interview with my colleague, and he has occasionally waived or made an exception to the English proficiency based on that interview. So that's just an additional opportunity we have.
Okay.
Perfect. So what we're going to do, we will attach the video link on the description below when people watching Facebook or YouTube or Twitter. So we'll get that link down there. Is there any additional questions that Yvonne, you wanted to ask Brent before we finish the session today?
When my student asks me, then I'll ask many questions. Okay, I think
you've done a good job.
Yeah, you've done very well, very clear presentation, and
good.
Especially, I should thank you, Educo. Brent is the director of Educo USA for Duke University. This Master of International Development Policy project. Yeah, they're very.
Sure.
It's very exciting for me when I first time touch this project. I feel, why they only need one major? The other major, like a bachelor degree or other, they don't need me because they only available program for national students.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's exciting for us to work with you as
but
well,
most of my
and
friends,
to talk to prospective students.
Most of my friends, if they are living in US before, or any friend they have a go abroad experience, when they heard about Duke University, they say, "Oh, Yvonne, that's very good university. Are you sure they contact with you?" So that's why I said, "Oh, okay, that's how good you are." Okay, anyway, it's just fun. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
Duke
you,
is
Brain.
an excellent university.
Thank you for your
We
time.
will try our best, and we hope we will recruit a very good tenant and suitable for this program. And once again, thank
Excellent.
you for today. Thank you for your time. I know you now the time.
Sure.
Yeah, it's about time for you to have a dinner now. Right. So let's wrap it up. Thank you, Brain, for your wonderful
That's
time.
right. Thank you.
And we should get connected you more often in the future. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Great. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Bye bye.
拜拜。OK， 那我们今天很感谢这个Brent 呢来帮助我们来介绍这个杜克大学。其实我今天个人也是蛮紧张的，因为呢是非常开心的一个也很紧张的心情来录这个美国大学，因为实在是很遗憾，澳洲现在也飞不进去，所以每天一直被人家问什么时候可以进去，也是蛮累的。那刚好这个时候美国又说来，我们现在这边都可以进来所以呢这也是个办法。如果有些有很想充电的，那么这个杜克大学是非常有名的大学哦。你知道这个苹果的这个库克先生呢执行长也是杜克大学毕业
哦，是吗？你刚刚还讲到尼克森总统嘛，对不对？
对，尼克森总统，然后
还有
很厉害哦，而且他们这一间大学，光是他的诺贝尔奖的这个得主，可能就比整个澳洲来得多，所以我有点吓到。然后还有呢，这个一些名人啦，比方说比尔盖茨的之前的那个
前妻啊，现在变前妻了，
因为要讲一些比较厉害的人嘛，然后大家就会说哦，原来是。好，所以呢，我就是在 Google 上查一下，做一点功课呢，我发现说这个大学的这个公共政策系呢，确实是很出名，还有呢，也是常出富豪排行榜的这个知名学院。所以呢，我认为有些人他可能想要在这个疫情的发生当中，他想要心灵有个沉淀的时候，他没有要问为什么啊。然后这些人可能在工作领域也有个5年了，他觉得呢，他想要把他自己更加的贡献在这个社会跟世界上，能够学习到这个国际政策的这个发展观察这各方面，他能够有未来有一个参与，给自己人生的一个学习的里程碑再有一个经验值的话，那我认为这是一个非常好的课程。好，那今天谢谢啦，就是今天大家介绍到这个地方，然后如果各位还有对这个项目有兴趣的，都可以跟我们联系。
好，谢谢大家观赏，拜拜，
拜拜。